The Mythic Summoning Event for November 27th is the start of our third year of special monthly banners. These banners feature a starting 8% 5-star focus rate and a 0% non-focus 5-star rate, which means any 5-star units you get are guaranteed to be one of these 12 heroes. Not a bad time for any new 5-stars, but be aware trying to get one specific hero can be tough. We are starting our third year of Mythics and Legendaries with a bang. In my video talking about the previous Legendaries and Mythics we got, I thought maybe we would see dual heroes take over as the new unit type. It turns out it's not dual heroes, but we have dual wielding. Okay, not really. Our next mythic hero is Altina, and she is from Path of Radiance / Radiant Dawn. Altina is not a playable character in those games because she is already a legendary hero of that world. Long dead, Altina was a chosen hero that fought for the goddess Ashura to take on Yun, the goddess of chaos. Her twin swords RAGNELL and Alondite were blessed by Ashura, and she is the founder of Bangyang, which makes her the ancestor of Sanaki. Now, while Altina may not be a character we get to interact with much, she did appear in a piece of artwork, and truth be told, it's all you really need to see to understand why people love to see her get into Fae. I do not think you can get any more mythical or badass than fighting off the back of a giant lion Laguz while dual wielding two gigantic two-handed swords. It's just amazing to see, and quite honestly, I'm super excited we actually get to see her as a unit. Oddly enough, Altina is a flying sword unit. Don't ask me why, but hey, I guess when you're that strong to dual wield RAGNELL and Alondite, you're probably some kind of Super Saiyan anyway. She will be our second Astro Mythic hero for those wanting some extra 8th raid points, and she grants bonus attack. For old skills, Altina only brings Vantage. It's a really good choice, as we will see shortly. For her weapon, Altina of course comes with both RAGNELL and Alondite. They can counterattack from any range, which means she has distant counter, no surprise. Altina will lose 5 speed at all times however, since she always gets to attack twice. Oh boy, this is some crazy theory crafting type effect that you think would be really fun to see, but you would never expect it to see it actually happen, but here we are. Important to note, RAGNELL and Alondite only have 10 might, weaker than the other similar weapons like Sword Reinhardt's one, but Altina only lose 1 attack in exchange for distant counter. I think that's a pretty good trade-off. Dual phase brave weapons are great with Vantage since Altina will be able to get her double hit off thanks to the Vantage proc. While she may be pretty scary, Hardy Bearing will shut this nonsense down right away. Still, pretty darn good combo for PvE stuff. RAGNELL and Alondite seem like a hilariously fun weapon, and things only get better with Altina's personal skills. It's not confirmed yet, but with a name like Twin Blades, I assume this special will be unique to Altina only. It's a 2 cooldown special and boosts damage by 40% of Altina's res stat. It also disables non-special skills that reduce damage by X%. Nothing too crazy here. Twin Blades is essentially half a Glacies, half the cooldown and half the damage. From the video, Altina deals 14 damage with Twin Blades, which means she has somewhere around 35 res, which is really high for a sword unit. Since RAGNELL and Alondite have that full -5 speed penalty, I think it's safe to assume Altina is going to be somewhat slow, but a bit on the tankier side. Now, the second part of Twin Blades negates damage reduction effects, but only if they reduce damage by a percentage. I take it that it's not going to stop Shield Pulse, which grants a flat -5 damage reduction, but it will stop Brave Ike and the deflect skills. With Brave Ike coming back as a super tank, Altina will be able to get rid of his nasty 40% or 80% damage reduction when she hits him with Twin Blades, and while I don't know if that's enough to kill him in every matchup, it's still a good amount of extra damage. I may have missed a non-special that reduces damage by a percentage, but the only other thing I found was Kagura's Dart, which honestly Altina is going to probably murder her anyway. This is sort of a weird effect tacked on since there's not a lot of things it stops, so to me this could possibly signal that we could see more damage reduction type effects in the future. For Twin Blades, just off of the first impressions, I'm thinking Heavy Blade is an easy seal to pair with it. Quicken Pulse is another good option. For her A skill, Altina has Ashura's Chosen. It neutralizes effective against flyer bonuses. Also, if Altina is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, or if she is adjacent to no one, then she gets +6 attack and defense during combat. So this is a very nice unique A skill. Distant counter flyers have some issues since they are innately weak to archers. Ashura's Chosen gets rid of this problem, so Altina is all good. The other part of this skill is that it's basically solo attack and defense 3, however it can also work if Altina is next to beast or dragon allies. Not bad at all. It can be always active if you pair her with only beast or dragon units, and she really loves that +6 attack since she's always attacking twice. Assuming Altina has high res, her defense may be a little lacking, so getting the +6 defense is also going to be good. Overall, this is a solid 8 skill to keep. Last, we have attack and defense oath 3. At the start of the turn, if unit is adjacent to an ally, then the unit gets +5 attack and defense for 1 turn. So a self-buffing C skill is really nice, and oath skills are inheritable, but only to infantry and flying units. For Altina herself, again, she just gets more attack and defense, both which are perfectly fine to have. As a flying unit, she should have no problems maneuvering around her allies, and she can also use the flyer mobility skills if you want even more options. Another perfectly fine skill to hold on to. Overall, I think Altina looks fantastic. Gonna have to kinda keep in mind that she is a flying sword unit, not infantry, and that's good and bad. If she were infantry, then she could use things like Special Spiral, Wrath, Times Pulse, or even Lulls for extra damage. Distant Counter plus enemy phase brave weapons are just insane and should be incredibly fun just for general usage. I'm hoping she's actually solid for defensive usage since her res is looking to be pretty high, and if she sacrifices speed for min-max attack and defense, then that could be pretty fun as well. As another flyer with built-in IO shield and distant counter should be a great addition for a flying team, and I hope I can get her from my team. Her finishing attack animation is great, her special animation is great, and the pinkish Astra blessing looks amazing on her. I think most people never thought we would see Altina in this game, but it's very cool to see her now. Not sure what happened to Mythic Leaf, but he could be on the far-fetched banner if that's still happening. Crazy times for summoning are ahead with the winter season coming up, and you'll definitely have to make some tough choices on who you'll actually be summoning for. If you want to get yourself Altina, then let's see what you're up against. In the red group, we have Altina herself, Mythic Sothis, and Legendary Marth. Blue has Fjorm, Legendary Young Tiki, and Legendary Julia. Green has Legendary Lyn, Yarn, and Summer Levotine. Last, Colorless has Mythic Dumo, Bridal Fjorm, and Summer Gunthra. We'll now talk about each unit briefly, and you can see what kind of fodder skills they have to offer in the case you get some extra copies. For the raid group, we already talked about Altina. She has some fun personal skills, but her only inheritable skill worthwhile is attack and defense oath, and that's of course since it's new. Mythic Sothis is a lot of fun, very fast, everything else is balanced out, and she also has distant counter on her weapon. She's a red dragon, but Sublime Surge nullifies dragon effectiveness, and we have a ton of dragon killers these days, so it's a nice bonus to have. Unlike Altina, Sothis has some prime fodder skills. Tech and Speed Solo, Wrath, and Times Pulse are all amazing skills to have. Cannot go wrong if you get some extra Sothis copies. Speaking of dragon killers, we round the group out with Legendary Marth. Exalted Falchion has bonus doubler built in, and Binding Shield makes this Marth an insanely strong dragon counter. I really like having him around for Arena Assault. His inheritable skills are okay, attack and speed bond isn't bad, but most attackers probably want attack and speed solo or Swift Sparrow. Infantry Flash is also fun. It grants Flashing Blade to infantry teammates, but it will depend on what kind of team you put together to determine how it's effective. Overall, red is not bad at all if you want Altina. Sothis is great all around and has amazing fodder. Marth has okay fodder skills, but he's an amazing unit himself if you need a dragon counter. Our blue group starts with Fjorm. Everyone should be familiar with her since she can be gotten for free from book 2 of the story. Distant Counter Lance plus Ice Mirror makes her a fun defensive unit. Tech and Defense Bond is a good skill, and Shield Pulse is still pretty darn rare. I really wish they would just throw it on a demote one day. Fjorm also has Drive Attack if you want some supportive skills. Second, we have Legendary Young Tiki, very strong armored blue dragon. She has a ton of base stats, a distant counter weapon, and it's also effective against dragons. Her with everyone's C skill buffs herself and allies with extra defense and res, so have fun taking her out. For skills, Tiki has Fierce Breath, which grants bonus attack and its sweet cooldown reduction. She also has Bold Fighter, which can turn any armor unit into a scary attacker with a guaranteed follow-up attack and more cooldown reduction on hit. Legendary Tiki is just a monster. Third, we have Legendary Julia. She's a blue infantry mage with a very high attack stat. Basically, her entire kit involves a lot of attack, and Julia can just dish out some serious damage in a single shot. Virtuous Naga is effective against dragons, grants a flat +3 attack, and then if Julia has more attack than her foe at the start of combat, she gets another +6 attack and res. Light and Dark inflict -2 to all stats on the enemy, it neutralizes all their field buffs, and it also negates adaptive damage, so Julia can fight dragons even better. Combine both of these with Mirror Impact and Attack and Res Oath for even more attack and res, and oh boy, it's some pretty scary stuff. Julia is a very nice blue dragon killer, and Mirror Impact and Attack and Res Oath are both good fodder options. I'd have to say that the blue group is also very good this time. Fjorm is probably the weakest choice here, but still she's very useful. Legendary Tiki and Julia are good units and have nice fodder skills, so blue is not a bad second color to go after. Our green group starts with legendary Lyn. She's a green archer with decent speed and a controversial base kit. Swift Mulligar isn't bad, but Laws of Decay is just an odd defensive skill since Lyn isn't that tanky. She has Desperation if you want to go more offensive, but I would say Lyn needs some changes whether you want her to be offensive or defensive. Her only worthwhile fodder skill is Speed Tactic, however it is the rarest tactic buff. Second, we have Yarn, who is a green beast cavalry unit. His Bunny Fang is actually pretty neat since if Yarn ends a fight under 75% HP, he's gonna get -2 special cooldown, kind of like Special Spiral. It also grants a flat +3 speed, and he has attack at speed solo and odd speed waves, so while 33 base speed doesn't look that fast, Yarn can become very annoying as an attacker. He also has Gale Force by default, which does work with Bunny Fang, so Yarn doesn't need Heavy Blade to be a Gale Force unit. He's a pretty good attacker in my opinion, and he does have great fodder skills too. Last in the group is Summer Levantine. She's a flying green mage with high attack, low speed, and decent defensive bulk. Buoy Board Plus is an inheritable green tome that grants +4 attack and res if a field buff is on the user. It's okay, but ultimately Summer Levantine is a great blade tome user and her kit fits that weapon very well. She has 3 great fodder skills: Mirror Impact, Defense and Res Link, and Odd Attack Wave. She can self-buff herself with 3 different stats potentially, and Mirror Impact can protect Levantine when attacking if she doesn't finish off her target. I personally use her as a blade tome mage and she is just fun to use. Similar to blue, green is also decent. Legendary Lyn kind of sours it a little bit, but Yarn and Summer Levantine are both fantastic units with good fodder skills. Last we end with colorless, and we have Mythic Duma. He's a colorless armored dragon with low speed but high everything else. Upheaval inflicts -7 damage on all enemies on turn 1, and this is important since Fell Breath grants +6 attack and res, plus it prevents a follow-up attack if Duma fights a foe that's not at 100% HP. Pretty darn annoying in arena, but this can be handled in Aether Raids pretty easily. He has defense and res solo to become even tankier, and if you don't want to attack first, Duma has Bold Fighter for some offensive power. Not a bad unit, and he won't have any disadvantageous matchups. Next we have Bridal Fjorm, who is a flying healer. Her staff inflicts Isolation, which I'm surprised we have not seen again since then. Isolation prevents a unit from using or being the target of assist skills, so this is a very powerful effect. If Fjorm tags a dancer, they cannot dance for anyone for that turn. For fodder, she has Dazzling Staff, which is always fun for any healer. She also has Ground Orders, which grants a buff that allows non-flyers to move next to any unit within 2 spaces. If you want HP and attack too, then just know that Valbar has this skill, and he was one of this year's instant 3 to 4 star units. Last up, we have Summer Gunthrow, who is a colorless dagger cavalry unit. Pretty decent attack and speed, and she's definitely more offensive in nature. Tropical Treats Plus is like the Buoy Board. It grants +4 attack and res if the user has a field buff on them. Not the worst inheritable fun dagger, but I wouldn't go crazy over it. For support skills, Gunthrow has Rally Defense and Res Plus for +6 defense and res for one ally. She also has Disarm Trap for disabling Aether Raid traps. As a reminder, thanks to Lorm, this skill is in the permanent summoning pool now. As for ARO, Speed and Res 3, I wouldn't really recommend it. The offensive Aether Raid skills are not reliable, and while they have high potential, it's just not worth it for that risk. Overall, colorless is okay, but it's just going to depend on if you just want these specific units. Duma is nice for Aether Raid defense if you want a higher score. Bridal Fjorm's Isolation is still one of a kind. Summer Gunthrow is different as a cavalry dagger unit, but I can't say that I see a lot of those myself. That's it for this month's Mythic banner, a good selection of units with good fodder skills, and we got a real surprise of a Mythic hero. Altina is super cool, never thought we would actually see her in Heroes, and hopefully this opens up all kinds of mythical Fire Emblem characters, not just the most relevant gods in the games. I really like what they did with Altina, and as a fan of Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, it's just so awesome to actually see RAGNELL and Alondite being dual wielded. I'm gonna try to get Altina myself, but I did just blow most of my orbs on these Sacred Stones banners, so we'll have to see about that one. Thanks for watching, good luck on your summons, and I'll see you guys soon.